I just wanna make sure they got it.
Yeah, maybe I did
What
it
do you
in a
have in the
different
other
building.
one? What do you have?
So yeah, it's going off the
Oh, I
current,
do.
that fin tube is going off the current heating and
Like
cooling
great.
set point
Really?
of a, of,
Yeah, I got it in software.
of RTU
Create a YouTube and
5.
parse it out and, whatever that's,
Jesus, oh my
they can
God.
say, you know, however you wanna go about the
So you
video.
have a map of the whole system there,
We
kind
can
of.
break it up.
Yeah, this is the guts,
Multiple.
this is the guts of the programming.
I think we may have, is it programming now?
I can always
Talk
check,
to you
yeah.
about AV stuff.
Yeah.
Sanctuary north space temp to HU5, fin tube valve for front entry from HU4.
Is there, where we can get a map of that?
Kind of.
Screenshot.
Get a screenshot or something?
Is over at 74.
We maybe
Well-
I'll understand a little better.
Well, and the other thing about that is I can get me a sheet of, just like we're gonna do with all the
Post it up.
electrical, plumbing, HVAC, we're gonna get all done and laminated. It'd be nice to have that.
Yeah.
There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of this.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Is there kind of some summation pages that would be helpful, do you think, Brent, or?
I mean,
Is just too much?
yeah, it's.
Basic overall screenshot of everything? Not really?
I mean, there's, this is a folder, this is a folder, this is a folder. So every one of these blocks I click into,
Yeah.
and there's just more stuff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's inside of that folder.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, no.
Good question, Dan. I mean, that's.
It'd be so messy. I don't think it would do much of an advantage. So I think we need to get, I could have swore I took this control off. Maybe it got talked about and never done. What I can do is I can use this space temp and I can control this fin tube totally separate.
No, you say fin tube, the boiler water heat.
The hot water heat, yep, the baseboard heat
Got it.
for that area, which is this valve.
Okay.
I can take this space temp, transfer it into the program, and I can set up a totally different set point for that.
That'd be awesome.
Yep, and then I'll put it on.
Then when it comes to air conditioning, we can still use the same way.
Yep, and I will put it on.
Can we relabel it to a, is that a?
Yeah, no, I'll put it on the hot water system here. I'll just put it in the corner.
Okay.
It's gathering. So I think it's entryway, gathering space, that whole area. Yep, that fin
Well,
tube.
there's a fan, I think, in the middle of the two doors, but.
That's probably a standalone fan coil or something.
Yeah.
So
In the entryway? Let's talk later about that, tell you what happened.
this muddies the water again. I just thought of this. If that fin tube is on, yeah, you have to make sure that your unoccupied set points are high enough and low enough. Does that make sense?
Speaks more about what you're thinking.
So I have to make sure that my unoccupied cooling set point is high enough. Because if that fin tube is running and gets that space warm, it could eventually turn this unit on to cool. Because right now, if we got above, you just have to be careful with that. If we got above 60 or 76 degrees in the gathering space, it's going to turn this on to cool.
Okay, so if we sense that, Dan, then we just gotta go in and change that set point.
Well, you shouldn't really
Not
ever have that fin
76.
tube, the radiation zone set point to 76. It should have shut off long
It's
before
just that, Brent, what you get is you get a lot of people, like after mast, before mast, in that area. So you've got body heat as well as,
Yep, and it's going to sense that temperature and close that valve.
oh, the heat valve.
Yep.
Got it, okay.
And if it gets above 70, if you're unoccupied, but you don't want it unoccupied, you want it running.
Yeah.
But if I separate this fin tube, it won't care about anything other than its set point and this temperature.
Okay.
And that's what you guys want.
Yep. Because during the summer, we shut down the boiler.
completely.
completely.
Got it.
So the fin tube won't ever run.
Got it. Okay. I can do that for you.
It should work.
Um,
From what we're seeing, it should work, hopefully.
I just want to go through the rest of these RTUs and see what schedule they're all running. The chapel is probably not on its own schedule either, because I know that there isn't one.
Boy, we gotta get one there.
It's on AHU1 schedule.
Because we end up, well, we get a lot of complaints like in the afternoon. It's cold. It is cold in there. I mean, it is cold.
Where?
In there. In the chapel.
It's 70
You know.
now.
Well, it
Is it
shouldn't
now,
be. It
I know,
shouldn't
but
be because
maybe I'm speaking about the summer, because you go in there. I mean, people are wearing jackets in the air-conditioned area, and
that's just a
not-
set point adjust.
That's
Does
a
that
set
RTU
point.
have heat?
Yes, it says it does.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. For the chapel, yeah, and it should have heat. But if you look, it's on that AHU1 schedule, and if I go to edit schedule, this unit runs from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
That shouldn't be on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
So how? Well, then.
We need to create we need to create a schedule for the chapel. I just, let's go through them one by one.
All right.
This is so helpful. Oh my gosh. I mean, what this is doing, it to me, is just we're opening up this opportunity for us here. That's just. Awesome.
And this isn't something I'm gonna have time to do today, but I can do it remotely. Or I'm not super good at setting up new schedules, but we have people that are.
Okay.
That can do it a heck of a lot more efficiently than me. And are in an office with 2 giant monitors as opposed to me on my little laptop. So let's check 2. So chapel gathering, I'm gonna say the chat RT1 and RT2 could probably be on the same chapel and chapel gathering.
Yeah.
We would just
Yeah.
we'd create a chapel schedule.
Gotcha.
That's
Right.
RTU. AHU1.
So this one AHU1, yeah. So
both
RTU2.
Yeah. Okay.
So RTU2, we're gonna put both on chapel on the new chapel schedule, right?
RTU1 and 2.
Yep, so far. This should help save you some dough. And
Yeah, and you know, really,
RTU3.
we can change the
Child-
change the scheduling on the chapel 2 days a week. Where we got 7:30 mass,
Yeah.
but away from that, it doesn't.
And those times don't change unless you're having a funeral or whatever. Those times, you know what time you have mass on Tuesday, and you know what time you have mass on Thursday, and you know what time you have mass on Sunday.
Sure.
But then Dan or whomever can go in and put in, just lengthen that schedule for if there's a funeral.
Okay. And alter it.
Yep, and just alter it for that week. Childcare, I would say probably on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that on its own, or we don't? It probably is.
I don't know. I guarantee you, I'm almost positive. Well, I'm gonna guess it's on AHU1 schedule.
Well, I think it is. The RTU3, I think, is one of those rooftop units over there because that deals with
There's a-
the
so-called
preschool
B.
areas.
Yeah, there's one for downstairs, one for upstairs.
Yeah.
B,
Yeah.
The classrooms.
Okay.
There's 3 classrooms at the end down there. That is controlled by one rooftop, and the other one is.
Yep. So that's probably a considerable savings, right? You're gonna open the child care center on Sunday, probably.
No.
No, not even for mass.
No.
They have.
This
So
is like a separate daycare.
Saturday and Sunday, basically, unless there's a scheduled meeting, it's not used.
They have preschool, I think, now.
Okay.
For whatever down there.
During the week.
Well, on like Sunday school?
Sunday school.
Well, right, but we can program
Yeah.
that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So Saturday you'd have it shut off,
Right.
and you'd
Sunday.
turn it on 6 a.m. and it's probably shut off at 3 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And right
else,
now,
like, if it's, yeah, or if we have faith formation one Sunday a month,
Yeah.
we can turn it on. But otherwise, yeah, that whole area should be down.
okay. So we will create
Right, Dan?
I'm going to create a child care schedule,
Okay.
and that will have RTU3 tied to it.
Okay. But there's also VAVs down there.
Wait, that's different. That's AHU2. That's
Uh.
AHU2 serves well, I may be proven wrong, but the way they're numbered, I didn't do this job, but these VABs are numbered 2 dash whatever,
Right.
which would tell me it's run by air handler 2.
Yep.
So lower level north, lower level center, and lower level south off of AHU 2.
Okay, that makes sense, because when we replaced the AC
Here, I
unit,
could move this.
that's okay. We did have this one, we replaced, Dan, the first 25 ton, that was the area. The second 25 ton dealt with these areas.
Yep.
And
The RTUs are self-contained. They don't have a
What's
condensing
this
unit.
one though? Why is that separate from here?
That's I think
It's-
it's a rooftop.
Nope. That's a VAB, and it's served by AHU 1.
And the question is why, when everything else down there is.
It just probably the way the ductwork worked, is my
Okay.
guess.
Okay.
That lower level daycare room, I believe, is the puddle jumpers, the little toddlers.
Oh, the nursery?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, and that makes sense, 'cause it's on this end of the building.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The puddle jumpers, I like it.
Yeah.
All right, I want to just get through these rooftops because we know they don't have their own schedules. So R23, childcare, social hall B, gathering space, hallway bathrooms. Hallway, I'm not familiar with this area, but the social hall B seems like that would be something you want to have
That's separate.
its own schedule on as well, right?
And that's the RT unit that drives it up on the roof.
I think
For-
is that a heat then? That rooftop unit?
Yeah, it does.
Probably.
It has heat and cooling.
I think we looked at it before, didn't we?
We looked at one had.
Oh. Yeah, it's got.
Yep, so it's on HU1 as well. It's got heat, so we're just gonna, do you want its own schedule for this guy?
Yeah.
Yes. Because that was when we schedule, somebody schedules social B or social A, now we can turn that baby on and
We
off.
got the wall, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Schedule this. I didn't want to go there.
My computer's got slow too. Yeah, see.
Well, so watch. I'm in the Wi-Fi, and if you watch how.
Yeah, mine's not that fast. Not at all.
He's kinda got instantaneous change.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we gotta get that laptop in here for you, Dan.
Well, so I'm direct connected. Well, not direct, but through the Wi-Fi right into the Jace. This is going out to the World Wide Web. Blah 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 blah. It's just a slower interface. Like I could cruise through here. Like if we pick RTU summaries, I go to RTU summaries. I'm instant. Almost beat me. All right, 5, gathering space.
Yeah, we went through that one, right?
Nope, we haven't yet, but do you want that on its own schedule? What does the gathering space, I guess you'd call that A?
Gathering space A, what do you mean A?
I don't know. You
Which
said
is gathering
there's
space.
gathering space A and B.
Well, there's a gathering space that you talked about with the chapel, but the
Yes.
chapel has 2 units that are gonna be together on schedule. And
Yep.
that has that new RTU and
One,
gathering
two.
space.
So whatever this RTU5,
Yep.
Yeah.
Separate.
Also?
Yep. Because the chapel and the chapel gathering are totally opposite
Separate.
of the building.
Yeah,
That's the
but the main gathering, needs control of heat and needs control of air.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
And the
Separate.
RTU5 only has control of cooling, not heat.
But he has
right
to
now
put
it
that-
does.
Right.
Right now it's controlling that radiation.
He has to make that change
But
then.
I have to manually change that.
No. It should, if you have it in auto, it's gonna control to the current heating set point, which is 65.
Right.
Yep.
So that heating set point shouldn't be that low.
While you have it unoccupied.
Yeah.
If-
Then the fan turns on if you take it unoccupied. Then
Right.
it cools it off in there.
Got it. And you don't want it running.
No.
That's why we're gonna go.
Yep. That's why something's wrong or messed up or whatever.
Well, it's not. I mean, that's the way
The language.
even though it's a cooling only RTU,
Yep. just need to be changed to whatever in the system.
Yeah, it's kind of a. I can look at that. And then hallway bathrooms. That should be tied to a schedule. I don't think you want a separate schedule for bathrooms.
What is, Dan, what is that? I don't understand. I mean, to me,
I don't know if it's on these bathrooms here or the bathrooms down, or if it's all four of those
well, and
bathrooms.
that's where I'm kind of wondering, do we really even need,
It's gotta be all four bathrooms.
because I know, but they aren't really even on their own system I'm aware of, are they? Although I don't see on here, there is an RTU, there is an air handling unit over by the door that goes into the youth room. Where is that? Because that to me should
No,
be.
that's just a thing for the boiler. Like fresh air for something downstairs.
No, not in the hallway. There's a room over by, when you walk
Oh,
in.
by the youth room?
The youth room on the right. Go past the cantina. There's another room. It's an air handling unit. And I think that's air handling unit for youth room and probably those bathrooms. So, Brent, what I was just recollecting here, we have an air handling unit over by our youth room over here. Can we check this? Because that might be the one that is connected to the bathrooms as well.
I don't know.
It's
Oh,
air
this is
handling
HU1.
units. It's a small AHU summary there. or
So,
whatever.
and then if you look, well, these all you want to change these, especially if we have their individual schedules. I mean, our unoccupied heat is at 55 degrees.
So it's cranking it up all the time.
Well, no, it's going to let that space get down to 55.
Oh, they won't sit
At
around
night.
very long.
Huh?
They won't sit around very
No,
long.
that's for sure. But that's just for this zone, you know. So
Okay.
you
Increase
can. I mean,
What
like
would
I
you
said,
put it at?
65.
Yeah.
We'll change it then. Let's just do it.
I mean, I would go 65.
There you go.
65 on OC heat, and I would go 78 on the cool.
Okay.
And the bathrooms, you for sure. Well, I mean, they're going to be off 12 hours out of the day for sure. But I don't.
Right.
You're not 100% sure what unit this is or where it is even.
What, the
It's
RTU?
RTU6. Yeah.
Is that the new one, Dan?
That's a chapel, or the gathering space, isn't it?
RTU6 is called hallway bathrooms. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, so what air handling units is this connected to?
This is its own air handler.
Why does
Oh.
it say RTU then?
Well, it's an air handler on the roof.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, but then we have an air handler over in the hallway over there.
Okay.
That
And
doesn't
that's
repeat.
why I wanted, can you pull up the
Is
air
that
handler
little?
summary? Yes, it is.
Is it? Then that's a fan coil, and I don't know where
Right
that is.
there, because we,
Oh, yeah. So we got a whole separate thing in this air handler page that's
Yeah.
called fan coils. So those are just itty bitty air handlers. They'll have a hot water. They might have DX, the fan coil unit.
So one says.
okay, youth room, here's where, this is the one, right here. Air handling unit 4,
Okay.
that's it. That's over there. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is that.
That has its own schedule.
Okay, and is it linked to the hallway bathrooms?
It can be. All I have to do is go to RTU. So I want AHU4. You want this youth room. So you want AHU4 schedule. So
Dan,
I'll
what do you think?
Right with the hallways.
or those bathrooms get used when the sanctuary is getting used, right?
True.
So you could tie that to the sanctuary
Well-
schedule.
The problem is there's meetings in the youth room at night and so on when the sanctuary is not being used, but that would be used.
So then we need
So-
have its own schedule.
Hallway bathrooms with the hallway.
We just create its own schedule. Hallway bathrooms would have its own schedule.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Or we could tie it, like you said, to the youth room. Because right now, RTU6 is on AHU1 schedule. I could put it on an AHU4 schedule and it would follow the youth room.
Could we have this schedule tied to, like social hall or these hallways?
Hallways, that's right, I'd have them set.
But I don't know if we have a hallway, do we?
No, we'd have to create one.
No, there's something that says hallway under,
It's hallway bathrooms.
no, I thought there was another hallway. Under.
Well, are you talking, I think we're getting,
HVAC, sorry.
so that's an RTU. There's RTU 6 is hallway bathrooms.
Right here. Must be a VAVs then.
I mean, are they talking these bathrooms right here?
Yeah.
That's the
Four
hallway,
bathrooms.
that's RTU 6?
I believe so, that's
Oh.
what it says.
So, that gets too dang muddy because you'd want RTU 6 to be looking at these rooms. And it,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Or Hit the VAV thing again.
Okay, so let's just talk, is it logical that it would be tied to the gathering space then?
Sure, but then what other areas use that hallway and bathrooms?
So like social hallway.
The
VAV
social
1
hall
floor.
A, the social halls. would
So
be
then
used in it?
we'd be fine leaving this on the HU1 schedule,
Okay,
right? Anytime those bathrooms are getting used, this space is getting used as well, one of these spaces.
Pretty much.
Yep.
okay,
So
okay, gotcha, okay.
so
All right.
HU1, obviously these bathrooms, if any of these zones are being used, those bathrooms would possibly be in use, so we'll just leave it on AHU1 schedule.
Okay.
So I think we're good. RTU1 and 2 are chapel. RTU3 is going to have its own child care schedule. RTU4 is going to have social hall B, its own schedule, and then gathering space RTU5 is going to have its own. So when you go to this schedule list, you're going to see 4 more schedules.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep. And something about the fin tube for the.
Nope.
gathered fins? Nope.
You don't want to schedule on that, right? All I'm going to do is program it to a set point
Oh, okay.
and have it out on the screen.
Yep.
So you set that set point, it's going to modulate that fin tube radiation to maintain that set point,
Okay.
period.
And then you change the high-low on that so it doesn't kick on the air conditioner, you know,
Yeah.
and then the fan should not go on either.
No.
Unless it hits its unoccupied cooling set point.
Gotcha, okay.
And hopefully it shouldn't hit.
Yeah, so you're going to see 4 more schedules in here
Okay.
to edit or do with as you please. So yeah, you'll have, and I'll probably have Kyle do it. It's not going to be named this. So I'm going to name it chapel.
Got it.
And then RG1 and 2 will be tied to said
Okay,
chapel
okay.
schedule. It's one thing with
So-
this product I don't like. I wish they would have a list of what pieces of equipment were tied to
Tied to
each.
it. Yeah.
This the tritium product doesn't do that. So
So, when we set schedules, are we setting the AHU? Are we setting the VAV? Are we setting the RTU? Are we setting all of them?
it's whatever is tied to that physical schedule. So, like if I go to VAV summaries,
AHU is kind of the tail, right? The nose of the dog is one of these other two, right?
well, I would say opposite. But so if I go into VAV 1-1, I could tie that thing to any schedule I want, but it ain't going to do anything because it's not, the guts inside the program. It's not telling it. See, tenant. I could tie VAV 1-1 to air handler 5,
Oh,
but it's just going to run off of air handler 5's schedule.
oh.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
And if I go to air, let's set it to air handler 5, click OK. So now you're going to see this is going to update AHU5 schedule. If I go to there, now I'm going to edit AHU5 schedule. It's going to change anything else that's tied to AHU5.
Oh, okay.
There shouldn't, I don't even think anything's tied to it. But again, I don't want to change it.
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
I think you could just-
guys, do you have a sense for that? I'm just trying to look at,
Kind of,
I mean, so like if we're gonna go in and change something, what's our priority? What are we going into? We're gonna go to the location and the driver of the instrument that drives that location, which is probably an RTU or a
Yep.
VAV.
Think
correct?
of it, everything, all the other peripheral equipment, the air handlers and the RTUs, everything cascades below them.
Air handlers and ATU, okay.
So air handler 1, its schedule is going to dictate when it turns on and off in an unoccupied mode, and what each one of these VAVs and every one of VAV 1, air handler 1, VAV 1 should be tied to AHU 1's schedule.
Got it.
And like we haven't even looked, if I go to VAV, the second VAV 2-1 should be tied to AHU 2's schedule, but it may not be. It is tied to AHU 1 VAV schedule.
So is a problem there.
It's improperly scheduled, yes. So 2-1 is on, so this should be tied to air handler 2. Okay. Now let's look at air handler 2's schedule. Same, it's the exact same as air handler 1, but wait a second. It hadn't updated yet. So I'm gonna go to air handler 1 or 2, I'm sorry, and make sure it's on air handler. Scheduling can get really, really confusing, especially where, you know, if it's an office building, it's really easy. Schools, churches, they get trickier.
Jake's up for tricky stuff, right?
You what?
He's up for tricky stuff, right?
I just think listening to Brent though this morning, we gotta really be careful, you know, in trying to,
We can always fix it.
all right.
we can fix anything.
But sometimes we may not even know it's broken, or it's not what we want, and I think that's where, I think we have to create a log, Dan. The system doesn't have, we need to create one.
Well, and how many people have access, and where are they getting access to it?
How do you keep a log of everything?
Well, I mean, if I'm, let's say I'm Jake, I'm gonna Jake and I wanna change whatever, RTU 3,
Yeah.
I increase set point, or unoccupancy set point to 68 degrees from 65. Well, it's just somehow that we have a record of this, because otherwise you're never gonna know.
So, why I asked the question, who has access and where are they accessing it? If they're only doing it from Dan's computer, just give her a notebook right here. But you have access from probably remote, right?
Yeah.
And do you have access remotely? Do you want access remotely? Do you have remote access? Okay. You almost would have to keep not a Word doc. No, there's a thing for it. It's a working document that would be on your server. That's yeah. One.
OneDrive or Google Drive.
Yes, and it would just be a working tally.
Yeah.
You make a change, you go into that, you type in what you did.
Yeah.
So you have a document sitting out there that's shared.
Yep. And then everyone can edit and modify it. Yep.
And then you create pages for each of the unit types, and then you have your log. And
That would be awesome.
Put date stamp and you're done.
Well, yeah, we may need to
Work on that. I mean,
Okay.
it's all fixable.
Sunday night, I don't want it to be 50.
And the fact that we have remote access is super helpful too. If you guys call and say, things are totally whacked, we can fix it. But I think this is going to help a ton in getting, I mean, with the chapel, I mean, you have artifacts, right? I would imagine all stuff that you don't want huge swings in temp. But if you can go down in the wintertime, you know, go down to 67. That's 3 or 4 degrees. Yeah, and in the summertime you can go up to maybe 74.
Sure.
You don't want to, again,
Go ridiculous. Huh?
yeah, but
Okay.
it's energy savings, and that fan isn't running.
Yeah,
The blowers, that uses energy.
sure.
Do you have VFDs on all your,
We have
Variable
we have
frequency.
VFDs on the big units.
the big air handlers?
Yep.
Yeah.
The rooftops probably, if they're newer, they should have them as well. And the reason I ask is
Above the office.
VFDs,
Yeah, ramp up slow.
they
and
start it
down.
slow.
Yeah.
Yep, so they start it without a VFD, you're just hammering, and it uses a ton of energy every time you start.
Yep.
VFD eliminates most of that.
No, I think Derek from Gilbert ramp up slow, shut off quick.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what he said for.
yep. The slower your amp, the lower your energy spike.
Okay, so Brent, where we kind of started the conversation was that we want to try to manage costs now. We want to get more proactive with scheduling. Are we getting all that addressed in what you've covered so far?
I think so.
Or what do you guys, I mean, do you see anything else we need to get him?
I think so.
We've got the expert, and right now, if you stepped into that chair, could you do it, Dan? I mean, generally.
Schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, so setting schedules, so if we went off of this thing, you could go in and just start, you
Yeah.
feel
Very-
comfortable with that? Okay.
Very important to go through and set your unoccupied heat and cool set points, because they're all out of whack. And if I were you guys, I would set a standard, let's say 66, 75,
Okay,
and then you can modify it if need be. You know what I mean?
and then typical, where do you put your temperature set point on? I mean, what's reasonable? Is it 69, is it 70?
That is 100% arbitrary to your clientele.
Yep. Some people like it. They tell me that downstairs, can you turn it up a degree? The office people have told me the same things. Can you turn it up or turn it down or whatever? So
Yeah,
That's
and,
what I
and
do.
s- a lot of times too, what you can do, like at the beginning of a season, is go through and set everything at 71.
you can modify it from there.
Yeah, just so you don't get out of whack. I mean, you could have one area that's set at 70 and an area right next to it that's set at 74, and they're fighting each other.
Yep.
So every once in a while, it's sometimes good to just set everybody even Steven, and then
Is there a button you can click to do that?
And then, but then we could kind of set at 71 and then just take it down a degree, for example.
yeah,
I'm starting to
just-
question the person who made this program.
it can be done. You can have global set point overrides, but it just would have it.
Yeah.
It can be done after the fact, but I mean, if it's something you want, I mean, we can do anything as long as somebody's willing to pay.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you're someone. Well, I mean, I can do it for you too, but it just takes time
Yeah.
to go in and set all your unoc heat and cool. Like this one set at 60 and 80. In the music room, somebody's gonna yell at you for that.
So it should be.
The people have
65.
I forget.
65,
Schools store
75.
all their stuff there.
Oh, okay.
People bring their instruments home.
I see.
Yeah.
65 and 75 for that then?
I think that'd be not a decent rule of thumb. Go 65, 75, or I would go 78 on the cool. Because 78, that's what I keep my house at in the summer.
Yeah, and it's comfortable.
It's still going to dehumidify.
How do you
It's,
sleep at night at 78 degrees?
I don't know, I'm cheap.
Listen to him.
Mine
I-
at 66 right now.
Oh my God.
Well, in the wintertime, we're 68.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the summer, like, get to go up to 70 for my wife, but I would keep it in the 60s if I could.
Oh my God.
I actually, you know what? I do set it down. I set it down to 70. No, we're 76 during the day, and at night I go down to 74.
Okay. That's second,
Huh?
but I'd be needing a sheet maybe or no sheet.
I'm cheap, and our air conditioner is just outside my bedroom. Every time I hear that start, I'm like,
I sweat. I can't. There's no way.
my sister-in-law, they live on Lake Minnetonka, and dead of winter, she has her patio door open to her bedroom, to her master bedroom.
Oh my God.
I crack my windows.
My brother-in-law had to install a mini split in their bedroom because they were killing their central air.
Yeah.
They have 2 units, one for the basement and one for the main floor and upstairs. And that she would have the house set at like 60 all summer long. I mean, we go over there and we go over there to go boating and stuff. My wife brings slippers and a robe because it's so cold in the summer. You got to go outside and jump in the lake to warm up. It's crazy. But yeah, so you'll have to go through every VAV, every fan coil, every rooftop unit, and change the UNOC heating and cooling.
Okay.
And then I will get somebody on this to create these new schedules, and we'll take care of tying the RTUs to said schedule.
Yeah.
But
And the good set point for unoccupied is 65 and 78.
that's a good place to start. I mean, if somebody were to come in the dead of winter and it was 65, they wouldn't be going, oh my God,
Yeah.
we need to call the HVAC company. If it was 50 or 55, they might.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But 65 is going to be not alarming.
No.
And would still save you energy. It doesn't have, the equipment doesn't have a mountain to climb. I mean, like, think about if you were on like right now, most everything was set to 60. If everything came on at the same time, which pretty much it does right now, 6 a.m., that you'd send that boiler into a tizzy
Yeah.
because everybody that's using hot water, and then and your gas meter to boot, anything that's using gas is all just gonna start screaming. You know what I mean? So, and the fact that almost everything it looks like starts at 6 a.m.
Pretty much.
I mean, that meter's got probably the gas meter's got smoke coming out of it at 6 a.m.
It doesn't need, not all the stuff needs to be on it.
I don't know if do you get charged a peak too? I think you do.
I'm not aware of that. I know you get the spike with the electrical.
Electric though, if you
which
have a
is
spike,
the VFD difference is huge.
yep.
We used to have air pressure for controls.
Oh,
Oh,
your pneumatic
pneumatics.
compressor?
Disgusting. That's just a killer on the spike.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So those alone, Dan, are huge for us.
And you have no pneumatics anymore, right?
No.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Yes, it is.
There's still lots of tubing running around all over.
Is it copper?
No.
Huh?
Plastic,
some of it
isn't
is.
it?
Oh, it's
is it?
copper.
Oh.
This was back in the day, before 08, before the last crisis we had, financial. I did a middle school, and I had to demo all of their pneumatics in tunnels, and it was nasty.
Yeah.
But it was all 1/4-inch copper tubing.
It's everything I see down.
And I just bundled it up, put it in the truck, brought it to my garage, and the job was all done. And I asked the boss, I said, I have all this copper tubing that I pulled out of this school. I said, what do you want me to do with these? I don't give a crap what you do with it. $3,700.
What? Oh my gosh!
I went to the scrapyard.
Oh.
There's our next job, God.
I went to the scrapyard down on Broadway in a real nice neighborhood. And these people, I mean, there's bums, there's homeless people with shopping carts full of aluminum cans, and they see me roll in with this cart. It's, I mean, I was like, because they pay cash. I walked out of there with $3,700 cash. I'm like, somebody's gonna rob me.
Wow.
Like, I should have brought my
Did
gun.
you lock the door as soon as you walked out?
Yeah, and did the tires squeal a little bit? Maybe. Yeah, I'm like, ugh. So, I think this is a huge advantage. And I think getting things broken off that don't need to be run. I mean, like RTU3, childcare, that's running from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week.
No.
That can be shut down at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Exactly. Yeah, right, Dan.
And probably the Saturday, I bet it's empty.
Most of the time. Yeah, most of the time, that and even Sunday. Even the Sunday, we might only need it for, what, a couple hours?
Basement could be shut down basically
Yeah,
Friday at 5 till
Yeah.
4 till
Monday morning.
Monday morning at 7.
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Besides Sunday school.
I mean, you're not going to see thousands and thousands of dollars, but you might see
It all adds up, though.
absolutely.
Because when I look at our BTU or the usage right now, our natural gas usage is higher than a year ago. And we've had a warmer, I was looking for the temperature chart to see if it feels like we've had a warmer November this year
Price
than
go up
last.
though?
What?
No, it's not price,
No,
it's just volume.
It's use.
Yeah.
It's volume use. So that's when I look at that and I'm going, this
How do we
is
use more?
good question, but that's why we gotta do this.
How long has
Really
this
well.
system been in?
About 2.5 years or so.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was only a year. Year and a
No, Kyle.
Big
Yeah,
Kyle.
probably a year or so before Bill.
We're losing Kyle.
What the heck? Why are you letting him go?
He's retiring.
half. That's why you said he's in Duluth through the summer and Florida in the winter.
I think he's staying up in Florida, or he's staying up in Duluth
Oh.
for the winter because his kids and his grandkids are up there. But yeah, I think he's gonna pull the pin some pretty soon. He might work for us part time though,
He's a good guy.
because the retirees can work with the pipe because we're all pipe fitters.
Oh,
With the current retirement, the retirees can work 500 hours without getting penalized, which is kind of nice,
yeah.
especially with a guy like Kyle that has his kind of knowledge. We just have to use him very selectively.
Yeah.
But so I got this. I'm gonna put that right there. So
Are you
next
guys
time,
satisfied where he went and where it's at?
yeah, I think like I said, breaking this stuff up and just you can go super stingy off the bat and then deal with. All right, well, we gotta add a little time to that one.
Well, I mean, yeah, because like the staff office is one of those spots. Because you got, 15 people that have different body temperatures. You got Father Tony that has his window open in the winter. And then you've got Mirla, who, if it's not Venezuela
She's
temperature,
got
it's
heat
not.
on. Heat on.
Yeah, I know, we gotta get those heaters out of there. They're killers for power.
And well, yeah, and they're dangerous.
They're dangerous for fire.
Super. Yeah, if
She
they're
has
not.
to just start wearing clothes.
She shuts her door and turns that thing on. You open up the door, it's like 85 degrees in there.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to have a talk with
I mean,
her.
my mother worked in an office, in the same office for 40 years. Dead of summer, she would get in her car, windows closed, air off, because it was so cold in her office. And this is what her son does for a living. I'm like, Mom, I can go in there and fix that. She's like, oh, I don't know. But it was all pneumatic, old junk. I don't know what I could have done, but
Yeah.
I could have at least. But she's always cold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't fix it.
Yeah.
She just runs cold. So are we
Okay. I think we're
satisfied or close?
set. You guys, yeah, I think we are.
Now I get to go
Right.
do this exact same type of thing with a customer they're all Somalian,
Oh.
and English is not their first language.
Oh, so
This is
you're
gonna be
an
exciting.
interpreter?
That's going to be a little tough.
Huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you're gonna need the